For those who don't know me, my name is Erica Mon. I'm the director for BC and Yukon on the NBC Board of Directors and your moderator for today's Facing Adversity Head-On panel. Joining me today, we have Argivan Restagari, Amira Amarula, and Rocky Madan.
No introduction needed.
So a little bit about our panelists before we get started. Argivan's journey as a new broker agent in Canada is a testament of her resilience and determination. Arriving in North America from Iran only 5 years ago, with only 2 suitcases and a student visa, she had to adapt to a new life, language, and culture. Despite facing challenges like the steep learning curve and regulatory changes and complex board requirements, she turned those obstacles into opportunities for growth. And as an immigrant, she adjusted to a new life in Canada was challenging, but she embarked to change and own her customer communication skills while working various jobs. With the encouragement of her aunt, she ventured into the mortgage brokering field and leveraged her digital marketing skills to build a strong online presence. Her educational videos on social media, especially TikTok, attracted a growing audience and generated business, dispelling misconceptions about her background. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your brilliant introduction.
And Amira has over 22 years of hands-on experience in the mortgage industry and heads one of Canada's top independent brokerages, Canada Mortgage Financing Group. She's also the founder of CMFG Limited Partnership, a private mortgage fund, CMFG Development, CMFG Mortgage Investments Inc., HCS Innovative Healthcare Services, and an online store, shopwithamira.com, where 100% profits from each sale is donated back to helping the underprivileged. Amira is an expert in the mortgage space with an unblemished record in managing investors' capital and private mortgages to structuring residential and commercial mortgages for borrowers from banks, alternative lenders, or the private sector. Amira's compassion for others, professional conduct, integrity, and expertise in structuring and closing complex transactions has contributed to her success, making her a stand-up performer and icon in the mortgage industry. She's been honored with multiple awards, the most notable the Home Trust Award for Best Alternative Lending Broker of the Year, Equitable Bank Award for Alternative Brokers Specialist New to Canada, and CMP Women of Influence, just to name a few. Thank you, Amira, for being here. Rocky arrived in Canada in 2004 with her husband and 3-year-old, having held frustrating jobs before landing a position with an IT company where she worked for 6 years and received numerous awards. When her husband suggested mortgages, she searched for a brokerage to join with no network to rely on. Rocky tried everything, but nothing worked, but she finally got her break when she realized she could successfully close online leads. That was her niche, and everything had snowballed since. Now Rocky is an accomplished mortgage broker in GTA, and she has been presented with many awards, including the 3 Best Rated Brokers, CMP Women of Influence, Broker of the Year, New to Canada, Top 75 Brokers, CMP Hot List, Reader's Choice Top Mortgage Broker, and every year reached the top 1% of her brokerage. Remarkably, she achieved this within 10 years. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time. So I will get straight to the questions, and I'll start with Rocky.
Yeah.
But my question for you is, can you share a brief overview of your personal and professional journey, highlighting the significant challenges you faced along the way?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go a little bit back. I came from India in 2004. Really born with a silver spoon in my mouth, like coming from a very, very, very wealthy family in India. And me and my husband decided that we are just going to start from nothing. So we packed our suitcases and we came to Canada, and it was back in 2004. We had a strategy in place, and immigrants have no fear. Honestly, we just come and we do our stuff, because adapting to a new culture, adapting to new weather, adapting to new way of doing business, adapting to everything that's, where you feel, it's kind of like you leave a baby and you say, go figure it out. And you throw them in a swimming pool and say, well, swim or sink. So that's where the journey started. 2004, I came to Canada. I started numerous frustrating jobs, like I worked in KFC for 2 months. That was something. The funny moment was when the manager said, "Can you go just clean the bathroom?" I'm like, "Pardon me? Like, I mean, you want me to go clean the bathroom?" So that was a pivotal point where I said, no, it's not going to be easy. Landed in an IT job shortly after. I grew the company from 8 million to 12 million, 6 years. Tremendous success in that career. And then I said, now what? Like, my T4 was like last year, 10 years back, was great. And when I took it to Dawn, I said, well, I'm in this industry, but my husband suggested after I quit the job, I started an IT company, and that failed miserably. And my husband said, what about mortgage brokering? I'm like, what? He says, yeah, you're so good in numbers, you should be a mortgage broker. I said, do they even make money? Like, do they really make money? Like, who's a mortgage broker? So he says, well, you should go explore. And that's when I went to about 20 different organizations. And every time I went to an office, I felt, I was interviewing them. They were not interviewing me. I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And then I ran into Dawn, and where we had a good conversation. And for the first time, it felt like, we were having a conversation about my success and how things can be done. And first 3 years of the business were really, really, really frustrating because I didn't even make what I made in my bonus in IT job. And I'm like, okay, is this even going to work? And from there, it just snowballed, and here I am, 10 years later.
Well, we'll get to all your tips and tricks and how the snowball effect happened, but we'll ask the next question, and maybe I'll ask for Argaban, but similar to what I said, can you share a brief overview of your personal and professional journey, highlighting the significant challenges you have faced along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi everyone, my name is Armo Rastegari. I'm a young female entrepreneur with just 18 months in the industry. My journey has been both enlightening and challenging, but I took those challenges and I learned from them, I grew from them, and it really impacted my personal and professional growth. I take every challenge as an opportunity to come up with more strategies, learn and evolve, and just get better at what you do. And it's not just growth in finance market, but also it really improved my communication skills, my customer service, team collaboration, marketing, and many more. And these are the things that really impacted my growth overall.
Thank you for sharing that. And Amira, I will ask you a similar question, but can you share a brief overview of your professional and personal journey, highlighting the significant challenges you faced along the way?
Hi everyone, I'm Amira, and thank you all for coming, and Erica, thank you for moderating this for us. I started in the business since 2001, but I came to Canada when I was 18. I was just about 19 years old when I started. And like every immigrant coming to the country, it's always a challenge and adjustment and all of that, and especially when you don't have friends or family support, it's difficult. I got married at a very young age, coming from where I came from, 15 years old. And my upbringing on a personal level was growing up with step parents, never had a support system, so I had to grow up really fast. And everyone has challenges in different ways. It affected me psychologically, a lot of things. But you know what? I came here and I looked at Canada as a place for opportunities. So I was very introverted at the time. And even today, like speaking here, I'm very nervous.
You're doing good.
But it's just that, you have to just throw yourself at what you want to do, and especially when you know what your purpose is, you have to go out and face any adversity and also face the challenges, because when you look back at things that you've gone through, no matter how difficult it is, you get through them. One way or another, doors open, you meet people along the way, and even though a situation may be negative, there's always positive from it, and you grow from that, right? So for me, I came here, started in the business, back then, it was a very much more male-dominated industry. We've come a long way today. We still have a long way more to go, but I do see today there's a lot of men that are supporting women as well. But you know what, women today are CEOs and leaders of companies like myself, and we are taking up space, we are taking the stage, we are having a voice, we're having a platform. We have organizations like Women in the Mortgage Industry. We have organizations like platforms like I Love Mortgage Brokering, where there's engagement with both women and men. So our voice is being heard, our opinion matters, because we had to push barriers. It was an uphill battle. You know, I've been in a company where I used to manage 125 agents, and there were males, you know, that came into the business, and I was pushed aside, and I was devalued, and it affects your self-esteem. It brings you down, you know. I was so young at the time. I had to, after 8 years, leave the company. And how I faced that and overcome that was because I always wanted to help people. You know, we want to help people, but how, you know? So I decided now to go into social service work. And because I wanted to help people that were struggling and children and all of that. So while I was going through that on a personal level, I had a lot of triggers. And I ended up trying to kill myself and end up in the hospital. I was in the psych ward for 10 days. But after that, I said, you know what, I look at things, my perspective changed over time. My opinion about myself, it's not about how people see you, it's how you see yourself. And you have to go internal, you have to go inside of you. It's not about, you know, the money all the time. Success is, for me, it's not about money, but it's about when I get to a place of peace, you don't put a price to your peace of mind. And you don't have to always, in this industry especially, it's very challenging, and you always, you know, there's so many competition and all these awards, which is great and great recognition for us, but there's always competing and battling and trying. You don't have to always. Once you do well and you become the better version of yourself and you create that tranquility in your life and you know that you're making a difference, that's what matters. That's what success is for me. So I think as brokers, like anybody in the industry, not just our industry. It happens across the board in so many companies out there. I think for us as human beings, we just really need to understand our purpose. We need to take example from our elders who slow down, and not because of the age, but because they realize that there's so much more to life than just the hustle and bustle, and, you know, so we have to come to that place. So personally, I've grown. I was very reactive and impulsive before on a professional level. It's because I always feel like I'm putting my best foot forward to do the right thing for someone. And maybe it's not, you know, maybe a client would say to me that, okay, I want this, but I'm like, you have like this. So I was always reactive with people who were not thankful and grateful, because I felt I'd give 100% and react to that without questioning why is that person reacting in such a way, or, you know, so I became more mindful. And I think that is something that helped me to grow professionally in my business. And along the way, I've learned how to say no. I've learned how to refuse business. I've learned how to say no to certain things, even though I made less money, but at the end of the day, it made me successful today, and I was able to associate with the right people. It's so important who you associate with, because your environment, you know, impacts you, you know, mentally, emotionally, and everything. So yeah.
Well, that's perfect. Well said, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, Amira. So Rafi, I'll ask you the next question, but can you discuss a specific moment or experience that tested your resilience and determination, and how did you stay motivated during that time?
Immigrating from India is not enough? Alright, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, challenges are, I guess, part of life where, you know, I think my biggest moment was having a very successful career in IT, trying to embark in a business that was IT again, and it failed miserably, and then finding something new to kind of evolve into, and trying to do that and make sure I'm not reverting back to the same easy path of going to a 9-to-5 job, but still finding something where I can build myself where I feel was something that I'm really proud of on how I transpired myself and held up to the challenge and kind of was moving forward to say, well, I have a very easy choice to kind of go back to my regular 9 to 5, pay my bills, still make $200,000-300,000, have a happy life, or I push myself to build something from scratch, which takes a lot of resilience, a lot of adversity, and it takes a lot from you to be able to pivot yourself through those tough years to say, there is a very easy path, but I'm not going to take it because there is something better waiting for you, and having that inside you and making you go forward with that mindset is where I think makes you successful or unsuccessful in this business.
Right, that's perfect. Well, it's mindset's a power.
Very
powerful
powerful,
tool.
yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Maybe I'll go to Amira, but could you answer the same question? Like, could you discuss a specific moment or experience that tested your resilience and determination, and how did you stay motivated during that time?
So there are so many things, but one specific was most recent when I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And at the same time, it was just before, actually it was during COVID. But at the same time, I was gonna open another office, which I'd taken on and then got diagnosed. So during that time, I was very, I had a choice either to shut down the company or, or take it one day at a time. So it took a lot of, I think what's important is attitude and your perspective, your mindset. Cancer is a very nasty disease, and it's a word that's very scary for a lot of people. And my grandmother passed away with cancer and some relatives. So ovarian, and I had it, so having to go through that after everything else, it took a lot of energy. It's like, another stone thrown at you, and I just choose to step on it to rise up, and that's what I've done. So it took a lot of resilience, a lot of courage, support, and you need just one person. Sometimes it's important to talk to people and express yourself, not suppress your feeling, and that's something I learned over time as well, to express yourself, because so many people are going through things, but they just feel they can't open up, or they're ashamed to talk about it. Back home where I came from, even if there is an illness like that you try not to talk about it too much. You don't want people to know about it. But I was very bold, and at the same time during COVID, I was doing the feeding program for the hospitals. We were delivering 400 meals a day. So I kept busy doing that and organizing all of that while I was going through chemotherapy. And I reminded myself of my purpose. And I took my laptop while I was getting chemotherapy 7 hours a day for 6 months, and I worked. I stayed committed to my clients, to what I needed to do, and it distracted me. So sometimes, the illness is there, but we live in a country where there's resources. And once and I took it like, I know what's going on with me, so I can find, the solution and get the treatment for it. So I believe I'm more solution focused. So it was really mind over matter, and my attitude is my prayers, that's what helped me to get over, and get through this actually. So my purpose kept me going, and you just have to stay focused on that while you started, and everything else is going to come in. And one challenge we deal with today, there's going to be something else tomorrow, a year later. We have plans, we plan 5-year goals that we have and all of this, but our circumstances change along the way and shift us in a different path. But it puts us in the path we need to be on. So you have to make the most of it and the best of it, and just take things one day at a time.
Life throws you a curveball, and there's always obstacles. So, congratulations
to you. Personally, professionally, there's always something.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Argavan, I'll ask you the same question, but could you discuss a specific moment or experience that tested your resilience, determination, and how did you stay motivated during that time?
So during my career, I faced stressful times, obviously as mortgage brokers. There were a couple of files that I was working on. I was highly under pressure. I was working long hours on them. Such a surprise, I know. But then it kept me going because I know at the end of the day, I'm helping those families. For me, I put myself in my client's shoes, and I know that they have put their trust in me in their financing decision, and they're looking up to me to make things work and close that transaction to be able to get into their house that they dreamed of or getting out of their debt. So I'll just keep going even though I would be in the stress. There was one situation where I was helping a single mom last year who was also a nurse, and her file actually, don't want to go into details, was tricky, but at the end of the day, after much stress, we got it done, we closed it, and I went to her. I usually like to after the closing, I like to go to the client or either outside. I want to go and greet them and congratulate them with some pastries, which I did. And then she was talking to me and she told me that, Arwan, you've changed my life. She had a big smile on, and she said that when she goes to work, everybody tell her that her face is like glowing and stuff. So that biggest smile and that happiness gave me such a full feeling that even in tough times, I remind myself at that moment that I want more of it. So these things really keep me going, of knowing that at the end of the day, the future of that client really depends on me and the all other stakeholders involved. So I really want to keep going, and I will not stop till I make that work.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I feel like it's already such a challenging market already, but you know, when we get through those tough files, it is fulfilling when you can help your clients get into those homes. So thank you for sharing that.
Anytime.
You know, Argaban, I'm going to go back to you because I have actually a question directly for you. But when we first chatted, you mentioned something that really sparked my curiosity. So when you first arrived in North America, you mentioned that you felt like you stepped back 4 years. Can you describe what you meant by that, and can you share with us like how you ultimately achieve success in the business with only being 2 years in the industry with no network?
So the first part of the question would be me coming here and getting really set back. When you originally come from another country, doesn't matter what country it is, and you immigrate to Canada, a lot of things are different, from finances to culture, language, system, commuting, everything is different. So when I came here, having almost nobody, I really had to learn everything. As simple as credit cards, in my motherland there is no credit card, so I really had to learn everything from the scratch. And that really sets you back a couple of years, just because you have to learn the daily activities, and then at the same time you have to study in a new country, and then have to work, and then you don't know anybody. It's a awkward, challenging situation at first. So at the beginning, you really feel like you are behind. You compare yourself to the people that are, like let's say back home. But then after a few years, from my experience, it might seem like at the beginning you are you're just running for nothing, or you are back from, like you are not as fast as everybody else, or you are behind. But then after a couple of years, you actually look back and you see how far you came, and you'll be proud of yourself, but also you'll be a step ahead from everybody else as well, especially as an immigrant, just because of a lot of challenges that you face, as Rocky mentioned as well. So either you are a first generation or second generation immigrant, somebody had to start with building their life in another country such as Canada. That leads to the second part of the question, which is no network. So either in me, or it was my parents, either first generation, second generation, doesn't really matter. Somebody had to start building that connection eventually somewhere, and I got to be the one. You know, it's a bit tough, but you know. So even though I had no network, but you can build your own network. You can build your own connections and relationships. Go out there, start building networks. I went to a lot of networking events, fun activities, sports, events. Everywhere, I try to do that, even social media. I do a lot of engagement online. So I really try to build those connections, and I'm very grateful. Only in the past 2 years, I've met and connected with so many amazing professionals, and also referral partners, colleagues, my friends, best friends as well. So eventually, they start somewhere. Don't bring up excuses of I don't have anybody. How am I going to be able to be an entrepreneur, be able to do business? Instead of excuses, try to come up with plans, strategies, and set goals for yourself of what you are going to do to be able to make those connections and network. And eventually, all those efforts are going to come and pay you off later down the line.
Well, you're definitely a hustler. I follow you on Instagram, and you do have like lots of great, powerful educational videos. So I feel like that sort of helped you. But yeah, congratulations for
Thank you.
how far you come for such a short amount of time.
Thank you.
Amira, so I'll ask you this question, but what valuable lessons have you learned from your challenges and setbacks, and how have they contributed to your success as a broker?
Just before I answer, to touch on what she was saying, you have to be proud of yourself. We're very hard on ourselves sometimes. So it's important to appreciate yourself and to not be so, because we always thrive in doing things perfectly. And by making mistakes, that's how we learn and we grow. Sometimes, we're very inconsiderate towards ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves or our body, or we look a certain way. Like for me personally, I never want to go to events or do anything or go on a TV interview because I felt I look fat or I'm gonna be confused of what I'm gonna say, even though I'm very good at what I do. Like I'm very good at what I do in this business. But then I overcome that, it's all about how you see yourself internally and not to be hard on yourself and put yourself out there. Like she said, talk to people, tell people what you do because they're not just gonna know. And even like for me when I started and I didn't have money to do advertising and all of this, I used to like print on a piece of paper, Word document, post it up on the mall entrance, the mall, make those phone calls, go door knocking. I started in this country knocking doors, selling ADT security alarm for 9 months, and snow would fall down. People slammed the door in my face. And that, there are days that I cried, but you know what? It built me, it made me stronger. So all these challenges, it makes us really strong. So that's a positive thing, right? So that's what I wanted to touch on, what she said as well. And your question was again.
Probably you can like roll into it, but like what are the most valuable lessons you learned from your challenges and setbacks, and how have they contributed to your success as a mortgage broker?
I think it just.
I think you just answered it. Yeah.
Answered it. But yeah, I've just learned, to sum it up, I've just learned that be ready to take on the next challenge, because it is a challenging industry. You're going to come across people with all kind of personality, and you just have to be mindful, and don't be reactive. I've learned not to be reactive, not to be impulsive, and one thing that actually helped me personally and professionally is that although, so I have so many companies, and there's reasons for each company and what I do, but as owners and CEOs and leaders, as we want to call ourselves, we always need someone else's opinion. We need to be open to listen to other suggestions and opinion. And it's important to go for therapy. Like I have a counselor. People, you have to set short-term goals in order to get to your long-term goal. Don't think about your 5 and 10 years. Think about what you're going to do for the next week, the next month, right? One step at a time. And it's good to have a therapist, a counselor, because they teach you how to break things down. And it helps you as a person to grow successfully and personally as well.
It's perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. Iraqi, I'm going to ask you a question, but you mentioned that when you first moved here, you were in IT, and so after experiencing the business, and I don't think the business went through, but and also you mentioned before in our conversation that you encountered skepticism. Did I say that right? Running with people saying that you wouldn't be successful as a mortgage broker. How did you ultimately achieve success?
I mean, success is a mixture of a lot of things, and I think the most important thing in that is your own discipline inside you. Do I have my phone? Yeah. It's your discipline inside you. When I started this business, my first goal, and I think I had this conversation with Dawn, is I need to have 500 people in my database as quickly as possible, because that's when I don't have to look for customers, they will look for me. And having your mindset around your own goals and you being able to say that this is what I need to do to be able to be successful in any business, any career, anything. I mean, this year has been really, really, really difficult for a lot of us, where we're having difficult calls with our customers about interest rate, and all you can do is pretty much stand your ground there and say, this is what it is. Sucks to be us Canadians right now, but we gotta go through this, and we're gonna, this too shall end. So for me, like, it was having my clear goals, saying I need to have 500 people in my database, having my lenders partner, like my core group of lender partners know me, know the kind of business I do, respect your colleagues, your underwriters, like, they want to hear from you that you care about them. Having them as part of your tribe is very, very, very important. And like having those small details, like I don't remember I missed any meeting in the first 7 years of my career when we had our office meetings. And now I'm kind of streamlined my business, where it's like I have my niche and I have my lenders and I know their products, and so you can evolve yourself in whatever you want to, but you gotta pay your you gotta work hard, you gotta initially do what it takes. And that's where a lot of people, oh, it's not going to work out, or it's not happening. But all the results only start when you're ready to give up. So that's the key thing that people have to take away, is it's really going to work out when you're ready to give up. So that's what made me successful.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that.
$10 each.
So, Argavon, we have about 10-15 minutes left, but we might open the question to the audience. But for our final question on the panel, what advice would you give to an inspiring broker or individual who are currently facing adversity and are striving for success in their careers?
I use some strong English words, so I might need to look at my notes here. Still, my English is improving, so.
Are you sure we'll understand what you're trying to say?
Sorry?
Are you sure we're going to understand what you're trying to say?
Yes. So for all aspiring brokers and also agents, and those undergoing adversity, know that, remember, every challenge is an invitation to learn and evolve. This fluctuation mortgage industry and a very interesting market will present you with numerous of challenges, but with a belief in yourself, constantly learning, constantly growing, and your unbeatable commitment to your clients, you will eventually achieve success. And this is a path to this dynamic industry that, as Rocky said, we all have to go through it. You have to be strong enough, have a tough skin to go through it. Learn, grow, reach out if you need any help, and always we are here to help you. And as Rocky said, never give up, because that's the moment that you're gonna see the success after. A lot of people quit and give up. The turnaround of the industry is high, and that's where you differentiate yourself, by not giving up and staying long term.
That's great. I feel like it's such a challenging market right now, so learning from our challenges and keep at it is key, right? So thank you for sharing that, Argavon.
But it's also hard sometimes to stay motivated.
And how do you stay motivated?
People always, for me, I'm tired of getting ready and going to these events all the time, or the energy and all of that. So it takes a lot. You can tell people that, okay, you need to do this and that, but how do you do it? The simple things that I would tell you that would help is that ask for help. Ask for help and get counseling, get therapy. It's not a bad thing. We all need it, right? And it helps you to break down things, dissect things, like peeling an onion. call another broker. There are a lot of brokers out there like myself who's willing to help, who's compassionate. So if you don't ask, you're not gonna receive. So that's what I do.
That's good. I mean, I feel like we're in such a great industry already, and we like just in this whole room, lots of great individuals I see in here, and always willing to have that ear for you. We have conversations, and it's always about mindset.
Like Annie Koshi was my motivation today to get out here too. So she's like, you gotta
And
get out
honestly,
here.
right now we have nothing better to do than to help each other. So-
Right, exactly.
And you don't need to always like work hard and hustle as much. You also need to take some time for your own personal self. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your mental health as your Amira mentioned. You've gotta, go for a walk, go travel, go spend some time with your friend, celebrate your small wins, those closings, celebrate them for yourself, because these are the things that are gonna help you bring up your quality in the service that you're also gonna provide to your clients, and you're not tired and exhausted all the time. You also feel energized. So also take care of yourself. You don't need to always like work, but also dedicate some time for your personal life as well.
Right, yeah, balancing and your personal well-being is very important. I'm looking at Ben Howard because he's our wellness coach and he helps us a lot. So Amira, I'll ask you the question, but what advice would you give to inspiring brokers or individuals who are currently facing adversity and are striving for success in their careers?
I think I already answered that, but I would say that don't give up. Be more solution focused than problem focused. Write things down that bothers you, and write things down that you can't find solution to, and then write down what advice would you give someone if they came to you, And like I said, call for help, ask for help, and take things one day at a time and have balance. It's important.
Those are great, thank you. And Raki, what advice would you give to an inspiring broker individual who is currently facing adversity and is striving for success in their careers?
Honestly, if you're in this business and you want to do well, you better think you're the next rockstar mortgage broker, like period. Like you are the next rockstar mortgage broker, and that's the mindset you need to have. The first advice I'm going to tell them to be is think you're a superstar. Be authentic. I mean, just be authentic. Like just be yourself. Just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I think where people fail is they don't start trying different things. I tried 10 things before I knew what was going to work for me. I was on the radio, I did financial planning seminars, I was chasing realtors, I was chasing accountants, I was on RateHub. Like I tried 10 different things before I knew what was my niche. But just because that's my niche doesn't mean that's going to be your niche. So finding your own niche and being authentic is where I think people don't understand. They think that just because it worked for Raki, it's going to work for me.
Right.
That's
There's
not the case.
There's no magic formula.
There's no magic formula. Everybody's different. You might be immensely successful with realtors, and I have one at home, but I hate realtors. Like, I hate them. I mean, what do they think they are? But honestly, like, they call you at 10 p.m. expecting, can you get this deal done? I don't even know the numbers yet. Like, go away. So that's really important, right? Like, you need to be authentic. Third is your mindset. Like, you gotta have your own mindset. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on you personally. You need to work on yourself professionally. You got to elevate yourself where people see the value in dealing with you, right? Like if somebody calls me and if I can tell them a solution that yes, I can do this as quickly as possible, or no, I don't want to waste my time on this, is something that you need to work on as if you're facing challenges. So overall, I think if you follow these three things, I mean, you're there. I mean, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, mindset, we talked about mindset, but that's very important.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned about trying several things, you gotta try several things to find your niche, so those are some great words, so thank you for
Authentic,
sharing.
you have to be your authentic self.
Right, 100%. Well, we have about 5 more minutes, but do we have any questions in the audience that you wanted to address? Cam?
Sure, it can be for any panel member, it doesn't matter. But given, we've got 12 more months of economic turmoil hell for Canadians, what have you changed in your practice, given that the stock market has crashed and financial advisors have gone silent, record number of first home savings accounts have been taken out by the banks, BMO still has to put theirs out though. What have you changed in your practice to address that big segment that's going to be coming into the market in the next 5 years, especially the millennial and Gen Zs who taken up this first home savings?
Turned off our phones? No. I think you have to take it day by day. You can't. Personally, I feel you cannot just be stressed about things you cannot change. Like, I think a lot of brokers are beating themselves that they're responsible for what happened, and including myself initially. Is like, I mean, why didn't I block this customer? And why didn't I do this? But it's really not our fault. The practice that I'm going to change is really like a little bit more hand-holding, trying to be there, maybe start meeting people, be more like, I haven't seen anybody for the last 2 years. And I think people need that personal connection now to be able to say, it's going to be okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to invest in. Can you have a co-signer? Can 2 friends buy a house together? Because it's not going to be easy anymore to qualify anybody. So I think those are the things that needs to be implemented in any business, and that's what I'm hoping to do the same.
For myself, it's more, so I have a private mortgage fund, an LP fund, and I've kept our rates low. And what it is, I haven't raised rates like other lenders out there. Because given what's happening right now, a lot of clients are coming up for renewal, refinance, it's tough. Or people have been used up their personal credit and they're up to their max, so what do you do? So I've actually, and I know the market, it's gonna change. It's not gonna stay like this forever. It's gonna change. So I think there's a lot, you have to use compassion in this time for clients. And what I've done, I've been able to, I'm trying to grow the mortgage fund now, the private fund more, so that I'm able to lend back to these clients at an affordable rate and give them some relief. Because even B lending rates right now is just skyrocketed and high, all this stuff. So people feel suffocated and stifled. So I've been trying to see how I can do that financially for them, giving them some relief on payments as well. In addition to helping paying some of their mortgage. From every deal that I close, I take out a certain percentage that contribute back to helping society. So I put that into helping our clients, and that's what I'm going to do.
It's perfect, yeah. I don't know, Ardalan, did you want to add to it, or?
Sure. I take this time to connect with as many people as I can, and also educate through virtually mostly, but also I do offer a complimentary consultation on what is basically their mortgage checkup to see what's going on, when is their renewal, are they going to have any problems in their renewal. So kind of preparing ahead of time, even for the clients that have pre-constructions coming up, I tell them let's talk about it 6 months, 9 months ahead. Don't let it be last minute just because we need to prepare, so that if plan A doesn't work on an A lending or prime lending, then we gotta figure out what would be the option, like a B or C, or if they want to assign it, then they have some time to be able to assign it if they cannot close it or they would prefer to close it. So I'm taking this time to really connect and try to educate and give back, because there will be a time that it's not sustainable. As Amira said, that the market stays like this, so eventually it's gonna go back up, and it is the best time to make those relationships, make those connections, improve our knowledge and education, so that when the time is back up, let's say it's back, go, then we are more prepared.
Also collectively as an industry, I think that, and I've been reaching out to some brokers who are in leadership roles, and advocate for regulatory changes and all of this, to come together and write to the Prime Minister that they should invest more in Canadians, and also give Canadians who are homeowners some relief in their mortgage payments, rather than putting us in the situation we are today, right? So I think rather than our money going out, and I'm all for helping refugees and humanitarian work, but I think we need to invest more in our people here and give them some relief. So I think it comes from a governmental level too, and I think it collectively is focused and who has those titles and utilize their resources to come together and advocate for this is very important. Industry, boards like CMBA and MPC, and we should do more of this, you know, so that's what I.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I can't remember what the exact number, but they're saying there's gonna be a flood of immigrants coming to Canada, so,
Yeah.
you know, I think we have Lauren here, so we will add that to the agenda at the next NPC meeting. Question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, all three of you have spoken really well. So Erica, it's great that this panel was put together because what you spoke about is something that women, not just in the mortgage industry, but across Canada and across the world really, are empowered by powerful women in leadership positions. If you had an opportunity to say something to your younger self, what would it be?
I would have taken this decision to start my entrepreneurial skills a lot before than when I actually did. I came to Canada when I was 24. I became a mortgage broker when I was 34, 33. If I started a lot earlier, you know, I would have helped a lot more people and built my life a lot more quicker. So start as soon as you can, but you know, being an immigrant, there's a restriction of paying your bills, you know, which kind of puts you back initially. But if you have a system in place and you can support yourself, do it now. I mean, this is what I would do.
For me, I wouldn't have gotten married. I got divorced at 21. I would have used my voice. I would have actually used my voice, and I would have made different decisions. Now, those things, I don't regret them. I learned from it. It made me who I am. But going back to my younger self, the advice would have been to use my voice, not accept abuse. And also, I would have actually started in this business, left a job, and started my career from a young age as well. I mean, I started young, but I would have done that.
At the age of 5.
Yeah, I would have done that. Because coming in this business, it's all commission-based, and it's very scary to leave a job. And when you have bills, everybody has bills to pay, and when you have those commitments, it's very hard to kind of, you know, go through that. But you have to sit down and say to yourself, you're going to put in 40 hours a week for a job, but you can put in the same amount in your own self and invest in yourself, and what would you get out of it? And you learn to value time more than money eventually, because you can't put a price on things that, you know, like time and all of this stuff. So that's what I would do.
And you started early, so you can't use it.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say that I would have started 2 years earlier than this. Sometimes I do regret why didn't I start 2 years earlier, because early 2020 I got laid off, as many people, and that was actually a perfect timing for me to start because I had time. I was on EI, so I could, you know, learn more and stuff, but I didn't. But at the same time, I don't regret it either, just because there was a very nice quote that I heard. You are where you are because of everything that happened to you, and in that 2 years, I went through a lot of BS, sorry, but at my employment where I was discriminated for my age, this and that, they made me cry on the sales floor, basically, these kind of things. And so I had to go through those tough times to be able to say, I don't want to take that anymore. I want to, you know, work for myself. And then now, in the tough times, I do actually look back. I'm like, do I want to go back? No, I'm just gonna, you know, keep on working. So everything happens for a reason. So maybe I had to go through those tough times to be able to stay now long term and not give up. But if it wasn't the case, I would have started 2 years earlier, just because I had more time to invest in my knowledge.
All right. Well, thank you so much for each of you for sharing your experience with us. Congratulations to your achievements, and you guys are my rockstar panel. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Great.
It's the $1 million. Focusing on my life. Another mortgage broker. Listen.
Thank you. Okay.